Good morning. This is Attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. My name, I said my name. My name is Attorney Vincent Davis, and today on the show we have two very special guests. Number one, Miss Marie. Good morning, Miss Marie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Good. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me, Miss Marie?
Yes. I don't know. Is this better
Seems like
without the
you might
thing?
be. Yeah, it seems like your video froze up a bit, but we'll continue. And then we also have Miss Monica
Okay.
Rivas.
I don't know why I have. Okay.
Miss Rivas, how are you this morning?
Good, thank you very much.
Good. Now, are you, Miss Rivas and Marie, are you guys related somehow, or
No,
you're two separate people?
yeah, two separate people.
Oh, okay. So you guys have two separate. Well, let me ask you this, Miss Marie. You're muted. Unmute yourself. But Monica, what county are you from?
I'm from LA County. I'm in California.
Okay. And Miss Marie, you're still muted. Where are you? Can you unmute yourself?
Oh, okay. There you go. Yes. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, but I'm in Oasis County at the moment.
You're in where?
Nueces
Miss.
County, Texas.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview you both separately. So who would like to go first?
Well, Miss Marie was here first, so
Okay.
she could go first.
Okay, Monica, that's very nice of you. Thank you. I'm going to remove you from the stream and bring you back when it's your turn, hopefully in about 25, 30 minutes, okay?
All right.
So stand by. You'll still be able to hear and see. You just won't be on the live stream, okay?
Okay.
We'll see
Okay.
you in about 25, 30 minutes. Okay, Miss Marie, you're from Texas, huh? They say everything's
Yes.
bigger in Texas. Is that accurate?
Oh, even the problems. Yes.
So apparently you have some issue with CPS.
Oh, I have a big issue with CPS. Right now I have an ongoing court case. They're trying to not have an extension, which it shouldn't be an extension, but they're still taking CPS calls even after the kids have been removed. Like they're reporting that we're doing kids, and they're like, oh, it's an ongoing investigation. As of like 3 weeks, kids have been removed for 3 months, and even visits are for two of them. Visits are Zoom, and the visit with the one that we could see in person, we go to an actual CPS place where they record every move you do. You can't use the restroom without the door closed, and things the things like that. So they're still getting reports that we're abusing our kids, and just it's ridiculous already. And we almost got them back last week, but the new allegation came up, and now we're like stuck in that situation with that right now, and we've already done everything we're supposed to. We're participating in what CPS that wants us to do, plus we did more, and it's enough. The CPS worker, when we went to court, she said, oh well, I've been working with the family, and it's like they're not getting anything out of it, anything that they're doing. And I was just like, that she doesn't know the progress, and every week she's harassing us, turning paperwork if we're doing this, if we're doing that. And I'm like, we already signed all the release forms even for our lawyers. And it's funny, like our lawyers have the the information, and she doesn't have anything. She's never prepared, but I'm pretty sure she's prepared. She's just not. She's just trying to show that we're not doing anything or something, whatever she's trying to do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a big issue right now.
Are there questions that you wanted to ask me regarding your case? I'm
There's
licensed
a
in
lot of
California.
questions. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. I kind of need to know like how to go about turning everything in that I have, and how to get that thrown out, like hearsay, how to get hearsay thrown out. That's what I really need to know, because it seems like CPS could say anything and they accept that. And when we have like hard evidence in our hands, they don't accept any of it, especially if you're the so-called perpetrator or whatever that word is.
Well, let me tell you this. In California, now I'm not licensed in Texas, but in California, hearsay is difficult to keep out in a CPS case if CPS uses it. The weird thing is that you, as a parent in California, can't use it. Okay, almost seems a little unfair, but that's the law. So when you say keep it out, it's hard to keep it out of evidence. The one thing that you need to do is you need to bring in what they call the declarant, the person who said this hearsay statement, into court so they can be cross-examined. But you also got to be smart about it. If the declarant is against you, sometimes trial strategy says don't subpoena a person that's going to come into court and testify against you, because it just makes the testimony even stronger against you and worse, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say the social worker wrote in a report, Marie's landlord said she is a drug addict and always gets in fights with her husband. Okay, now that's hearsay, and in California, that would be generally be not admitted into evidence. But because of the special rules of evidence by case law in California, the judge would be able to consider that hearsay in making determinations in your case. Now, if you say that sounds unfair, I would agree with you, but I'm just telling you what the law is in California. Now, what you might want to do is you might want to bring in that landlord, put him or her on the witness stand, and cross-examine him or her. The problem is that if the guy or gal doesn't like you, they're not only going to affirm what the lie they told, but they're going to tell more lies. So you're going to make it even worse on yourself. So you may not want to bring in that person to get on the stand to test his or her hearsay statements in the social worker's report. What you might want to do is leave him out of the courtroom and then bring other witnesses into the courtroom that will testify that, you're the perfect, you're the mom next door, the perfect parent, and that people that see you frequently or, a lot, and that can testify to the type of person you are, and that they've never noticed any domestic violence. They've never noticed any, drug usage or alcoholism. So then the more people you bring in that say these things in your favor, the less important the landlord's testimony will probably be to the judge when the judge is going to make a decision. Now, Marie, I know that was a lot, but did you understand what I just said?
Yeah, I just try to keep the people out that are going to testify negatively against me, and to bring as many people that have been around me more than that person to testify
Right.
all the good stuff.
Now, I just gave you what, I know nothing about your case. I just gave you a
Yeah.
strategy that I would consider. But here's the most important thing. I hope you are working with and taking the advice of your attorney. Are you doing that?
Oh yes, I do. What I love about my attorney is that, yeah, she's court appointed, but she takes into consideration anything that, well, she does her job as an appointed attorney, that we have all our hard evidence, turn it in, and she'll present it if it's liable or if it's good enough for her to use. She's really good at that. She's really good at telling me what to do and what not to do. It's just hard right now. We're stuck in that situation. The foster parent is not only against me, she's making all kinds of false accusations. That what makes it better for her. She's the next CPS worker as of three months ago, I want to say, and she's family. She's never been around me, but apparently she just knows everything about me, and that's what they're going with. And just like how you said, like you can't bring anybody in that's gonna testify negatively against you, but she's the next CPS worker. So in their eyes, she's just like this perfect person, and and everything she says is like so correct, and it's not. She just does not like me for some reason. We've only met like in 13 years. I want to say we've only met twice in person, and it wasn't even longer than 10 minutes. And she just had
You,
everything, all these to say about me. So it's
okay, you
kind
said
of
she's
like
hold
hard.
on a second. Hold on a second. You said she's family.
She's family.
Okay,
She's my
so let
brother's
me t-
wife.
okay, so let me tell you how to possibly fix that. Okay, in
Okay.
California, and I would guess in Texas, there's a law that gives priority to certain relatives. Okay, now unfortunately for you, if this woman is married to your brother, she's considered a maternal aunt. Now, if they're
Yes.
not married, she's not a maternal aunt. Okay, so a lot of people tell me, "Oh yeah, they're married," but in reality, they've never been married, at least legally. The other thing that you can do is you can get the child moved to or children moved to another relative who is more in favor or readily able to promote reunification services with you and the children. Because the goal of the case is supposed to be, at least in California, that the kids are being going to be returned to you. That's the ultimate goal. It's not to keep the kids away from you. But sometimes I get the feeling, and so do a lot of parents, that the social worker and the foster parent, be it a relative or not relative, are working to keep the children away from the parent. Now, I'm not surprised that happens because we're dealing with human beings who make up their own rules, who have their own agendas in life. But if you feel that that's happening, you have to talk to your Texas lawyer about making some type of possible motion to have those kids replaced to another foster home or with another relative who
Well,
will
we have tried
support.
that already, and I'm sorry, we tried that already. Um, we cut everybody off. I blocked everybody on social media. I did all the whole nine, and um, my family talks, of course, because she's part of the family, and she tells certain people certain things or whatnot, and so when I cut everybody off, apparently she was just going crazy, asking people what I'm doing, where I'm at, this and that. Like normal, it's natural, I guess. If you have somebody's kid or you're trying to go against them, you want to know exactly what they're doing. So when they had made a court date for a certain day, and we ended up going back earlier, which was last week, because twice already she said that she didn't want my 4-year-old in her house. And then after we had our court hearing, or like they heard a little bit of what's going on, it was like, oh well, the baby could stay. And all it was, from what I got out of my family on the side, was that she just needed to know what was going on. So she's still there after she said that she didn't want her there. And she wanted her out immediately. I have that all in text messages. And that's what's like me, even the adler, the attorney for the kids, was trying to just get it over with because we're complying, we're doing everything we're supposed to get the kids home, and it just didn't go that way because of the new allegation with the kids out of the home, which was impossible, but we're still taking that into consideration.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're moving close to trying to be reunified with the kids, except for this new allegation. But, you and your attorney are going to have to fight that and deal
Yeah.
with it. One of the things that can, and I don't know what the court orders for reunification were in your case plan, but one of the things that judges look at is what you've actually done. So, if you walk into court with 6 months of clean drug tests, it's hard for the judge to ignore that, no matter what the new allegations are. If you got a letter or a progress report from your counselor or your individual counselor or your substance abuse counselor or your domestic violence counselor that says, oh, Maria attends every class, she's great in class, she's really internalizing what she's using or learning, it's going to be hard for the judge to ignore that. So you got to stay on the positive tip and keep bringing in evidence. Don't get dragged down into a fight with your sister-in-law, because that's not a good strategy. Okay, number one, who are they going to believe, you or the sister-in-law? The sister-in-law. All right. So don't get dragged down in that fight. Stay away from her. Don't interact with her, and don't focus your case on her. Just focus your case on showing the judge the evidence that these allegations are false, the new allegations are false, and or the evidence of what you are doing to reunify with your children. Okay? This is not a case for you to fight everybody. This is a case versus you versus CPS. That's it. That's it. And I want to say that it's important, because a lot of times people that are estranged, like the mother and father, they end up fighting each other, and neither of them will win. CPS will always win. The case is with you versus CPS. That's it. All right. And you can put pressure and leverage in the case by making a written motion, or your attorney making a written motion, to have the children moved from this person's home because she's not supporting reunification services. And if that motion is denied, you can seek appellate relief, etc., etc. Keep the pressure on, keep the leverage on. Because listen, you're involved in a lawsuit. Did you realize that? It's a real lawsuit. It's CPS versus you. And sometimes, unfortunately, you have to approach it like you're in a real lawsuit. You have to gain the advantage. You have to gain the leverage. How do you do that? Through evidence, through discovery, and through motion practice. So you got to talk to your attorney about all of those things. Does that make sense, Marie?
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay. Now, we still have a little time for you, because I'm going to have to get to Miss Monica, but are there any questions you want to specifically ask me regarding your case?
I don't know, like I guess I would have to get with my attorney, but I just don't understand how they could still take CPS calls. And I guess that's like my main concern. Like, they're taking all these calls and they're using it against me, like, how do I say it, like evidence, and it's all rolled out. It doesn't even pertain to the case, and they're falsifying stuff, and I don't see how it's even court or anything if the kids aren't even in our care. Like, we're not
Right.
even around it, and I don't even think there should. I think the whole evidence should be that the kids are not in our care and they're supervised visits, and that's not what it was.
Hold on,
It
hold on.
was just like, oh my God, that's so serious.
Miss Marie, let me stop. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm gonna tell you something, and I don't want you to be offended. But I'm gonna tell you this, because if you're gonna think
Okay.
about it, it's gonna help you win your case. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? All right. Here it is. Marie, what you think about this case and what should be happening with respect to CPS's investigation doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. And you're getting involved with something that is going to take you off course on what you're supposed to do. Sometimes CPS does this on purpose, just to fuck with your, excuse my French, but to mess with your mind,
No.
with your strategy,
Yeah.
right? And to get you, I have seen over the years, been doing this over 30 years, I've seen what I believe workers do to push parents over the edge, to push them back to the bottle, to push them back to the needle, to push them back to the meth pipe. Because they know parents have weaknesses, like all human beings. And they do stuff to push them to the edge. There have been reports, and this is not unusual, it's rare, but not unusual, that parents have been pushed so far that they commit suicide. Right?
Yeah.
So
I've had a
it's
cousin commit suicide over something like this.
so it's you have to be wary of these strategies and keep your, there's an old saying, you got to keep your eye on the prize. And the prize is getting your children back. How do you do that? With evidence and completing your plan. And if they want to make new allegations, I tell people all the time, oh, we're going I was in court yesterday, and a prosecuting attorney told me, oh, I think I can prove blah, blah, blah. Because my question was to her, do you really think you can prove this? And you can get 12 people to believe you? I can't get one person to not believe this? And she says, absolutely. I said, okay, well, you're going to get your chance. Let's go to trial. You know what she told me? Well, do you really want to do that? Trial's so expensive. It's going to take so much court time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm going to do that if you don't start acting reasonable on this case. Like, don't try to bully me and my client. So talk to your attorney about that. They're not there to help you, in my opinion, for whatever reason. They've probably decided that they want to keep the children away from you and keep them with your sister-in-law permanently. Now, are they supposed to do that? No. Does that ever happen? Yes, it does. And that's because they're trying to justify things against you. But you got to fight. You got to stay the course. You got to keep your eye on the prize. Understand?
Yes.
Marie? Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, Marie, listen.
No.
I know it's early on a Sunday morning where you are in Texas, but I want to thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your story. Please keep us apprised. You can contact me at the number bottom right-hand corner of the screen, 888-888-6582. You can call that number 24/7. Either one of the receptionists or hopefully the answering service will pick up. And you can always leave a message. Okay? All righty.
Okay.
Thank you, Marie. And have a good rest of the day. Oh, it's not
Thank
Sunday,
you.
it's Saturday. I thought it was Super Bowl Sunday
You
already.
too.
It's
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's add Miss Monica Rivas back to the show. Good morning. How are you? Hold on, I put you on mute. Sorry about that. Let's start over. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mr. Davis?
Good. So at the beginning of the show, you told us you're in Cali.
Yeah.
Okay. What county are you in?
I'm in LA County.
Oh, you're right here local.
Yeah, I'm
Right here
local.
local. Well,
It's just been crazy, this whole entire CPS case that I had.
how old is the case?
My daughter, she barely turned 8 on Monday. My son, he's 6. He's about to be 7. And my youngest son, he's 5.
And are the kids out of your care in a foster home
Yes.
someplace? Okay.
Yes.
And how long have they been there?
They've been there already for 5 years.
5 years. Have you lost your parental rights yet?
I just lost them previously on October. And I literally presented all the evidence. I have complied with what was asked of me to do. I complied with even more stuff to prove to the judge that I am capable of taking care of my kids. I became parents ambassadors for the public on health because of all the COVID stuff. So yeah, I have done a lot of things. I teach a parent workshop class on how to be around your kid, how to ask your teenage son any questions that you have.
Well,
So
wait a minute. How did you lose your parental rights?
I lost them because foster parent literally has made so many allegations against me, and the social worker wouldn't even work with me when I would try to schedule CFT meetings or stuff like that in general for her to see the progress and the accomplishments that I have made. She wouldn't even do that. And recently I found out that she's no longer in the case. That is another social worker. And I called the other social worker, and she told me that she hasn't reviewed anything of the case reports at all. And I told her in order for her to follow up with the social worker's recommendations, I believe she has to review my court case.
Wait,
I
hold
told
on,
her,
hold on a second. Here's a problem. All of that's true, except you said you lost your parental rights. So the only thing they have to do is to make sure that the adoption goes through and processed. And I hate to say this, but I'm just being real. At this point, unless you've appealed and you win your appeal, you're not even a factor in the case anymore, unfortunately. Now, did you appeal your termination of parental rights?
yes, sir, I appealed that. And
And what happened?
uh, besides that, before we even go into that, I had my public defender changed more than 9 times.
Okay,
More than
that's a
9
lot.
times.
Well,
That's a lot.
well, it is a lot, but over 5 years, to be honest with you, because 25 years ago, um, 30 years ago, seems like, I was a court-appointed attorney in juvenile dependency court. And knowing what I know about the system, attorneys come and go all the time, all the time. So the fact that you had 9, I mean, that's an unfortunate thing, but attorneys are always coming and going. They're always transferring, they're getting promoted, blah, 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 blah. And if your case was 5 years old, 9 is a lot, but I'm kind of not surprised about it, right? But you said all I wanted to know right now, you appealed. Did the Court of Appeals make a decision?
It's still not decided yet. I still have another
Okay.
court
Okay.
hearing.
Now,
So,
I don't want you to mention any names, but do you have a court-appointed appellate attorney?
uh, yes, yes, I
Okay.
do.
And you're working with that person, I hope?
Yes, I'm working with that person. I have provided every evidence that he wanted from me. Uh, and I told him things that I'm concerned about with the foster parent and CPS. And he told me that he was gonna try to bring that into the court hearing. And I honestly, like, at this point, I don't know what else to do, because with all the evidence that I provided, they still won't listen. Like, literally, the judge in the last court hearing that I had, she was asking for me to get involved with more of my kids' education and stuff like that. While you're in the supervised visit, I would work with my kids. I would work in certain areas they needed help on. I would bring like school stuff or like little things that we could do. And then we will play. I will take like turns with my husband. I'll play with my daughter 15 minutes with her, and then we switch. We constantly switch routines. And even the supervised social worker that was there, she will report and she will testify literally in our favor, and they wouldn't even listen to her. So it's just like, what else do they want me to do?
You
I'm
know,
doing.
did you, when you lost your family reunification services, which was before you lost parental rights, did you appeal that decision?
Yes, I appealed that decision as well.
And what did the Court of Appeals say?
It got basically, they determined that it was gonna still get. I was gonna lose the reunification. So they went based on what the social worker reported. They didn't go based on the evidence. And my question is, why, when judges ask for certain things, why they don't even pay attention to it?
Well, here's the thing. I want you to listen to this carefully. what the social worker reported, whether it's true or false, is evidence. Okay? Now, what you presented to show the judge that what the social worker was saying is false is also evidence. And when you have two things being testified to, or two pieces of evidence that show opposite things, it's up for the judge to make the decision. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, that's our system of justice. The judge gets to make that decision. The good thing is you can appeal it. Okay? And if you lose the appeal, you got to keep appealing to the next highest court. All right? Now, I don't know much about your case. I've never, it's the first time we met, and I don't know what happened in your case, or I haven't looked at the file, but keep that in mind. Sometimes people tell me, I had evidence to show that what the social worker is saying, and the judge believed the social worker. Well, that's okay. May not be what we wanted, but that's our system. But a lot of times what happens is that people say, I had evidence to show that the social worker was lying, and my attorney refused to put it forward. Okay. Now, that's a big problem. And there's ways to handle it. But it sounds like in your case, the social worker said ABC, you and your attorney presented evidence that said XYZ, and the judge just went with ABC. And that's our system of justice, unfortunately, for you. Is that what happened, Monica?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened. And basically, in my last court, my mother-in-law, because the whole story happened because of my newborn son at that time. He had a broken femur on his leg, and it's understandable. How is that gonna like happen on a newborn? So when I found out, I took my son straight to the ER. I didn't wait on it. I just went. I told my husband, get my other two kids. Let's take my third son to the hospital. That's when, honestly, I wasn't there at the home. Basically, I was working, but when he called me, I went straight home. We did that. I didn't know around what time it happened, but my mother-in-law ended up admitting it, that it was her, that she harmed my son, not intentionally, but she was giving him a massage, but I guess she went too hard. And I did told her, okay, you could have told me this before. It would have saved us this whole entire long
Wait
case.
a minute. When did you find this evidence out?
I found out because my little brother
No.
was in the
Not
home.
how. Not how.
Yeah.
When?
That was like in 2021.
Okay. Did you ever bring that evidence, or your attorney bring that evidence to the judge's attention?
He did not, because he
Wait,
did tell me.
hold on. I'm not asking you why. Okay, I don't care
Oh,
about that right now.
okay.
My question is, it's yes or no. Did you or your attorney ever bring that to the judge's attention?
No.
Okay. Then that's a big problem, obviously.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not going to ask you the whys, but there is something that you can do.
Okay.
You can make a motion to try to have everything set aside based upon this newly discovered evidence. But apparently it's not newly discovered. You knew a couple of years ago and still haven't told the judge about it. And or there's something called a writ of quantum novus in California that you could file just about at any time, even years later, to ask the judge to reconsider the decision based upon new evidence that has been discovered. Because obviously, the judge wasn't there when this happened. And all of the evidence sometimes doesn't make it into the courtroom for different reasons. In California, as most states, they have a remedy for that. They have an escape clause. They can, hey, judge, we just discovered, grandma has admitted she did it. would you set aside all of the orders? Now, I'm not saying you're going to win that motion, but that's the type of motion you can make. And if you don't win it, you can appeal that. Because what the courts are, in my opinion, supposed to do, they're supposed to be, make orderly decisions and timely decisions, but they also want to seek the truth. And sometimes the truth doesn't come out until much later for whatever reason. And in this particular case, apparently that's what's happened. If grandma now is saying, well, I kind of effed up,
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Bones of a baby, a newborn baby, aren't really bones. They're just fragile pieces of, this might even not be the right word, cartilage.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if I wanted to break my arm, I got 65 years of bone right there.
Yeah.
On a baby, that's not the case. And you have to be careful, obviously. And, if I were you, I would talk to my attorney and ask him, like, why didn't we make the motion back in 2 years ago? Or, hey, make the motion now. Because that's the only thing that you have to try to save your kids. Now, here's the other thing. Are your kids with relatives?
No, they're with the foster parent.
Why in the world aren't the kids with relatives? You don't have to tell me. I'm just going to tell you and everybody else. From the very first day, always try to get and keep trying the kids placed with friendly relatives. Not with the relative that hates you, right? With friendly relatives, right? Because
Yeah.
it changes the complexity of the case. It kind of puts the leverage of the case with you, not with the social worker. A lot of people, it's my opinion, this is my humble personal opinion, after doing this over 30 years, that some social workers, not all, don't want to place kids with relatives, especially friendly relatives, because the advantage in the case shifts to you and away from them. And they're trying to win. So they'll come up with all kind of reasons why grandma, grandpa, cousin Sue can't have the kid.
Yeah.
Right. And I see, it says Monica Rivas and Antonio Gonzalez. So apparently,
Yeah.
You have a husband or something who's the father of the kid. He's got friends and relatives. You've got friends and relatives. There's no reason in my mind that the kids should not be placed with some friend or relative.
Exactly. And that's what I've been
But
trying to do.
okay, but the problem is you've waited an awful long time. Your rights are already terminated.
Yeah. Like,
The judge and the social worker don't want to hear from you. You're not even a party to the case anymore. The
yeah.
best thing that you can do is you could try to make a motion, or the relatives or the friends, to have the kids placed with them now, even at that late stage. I mean, what's probably going to be said is, look, the kids have been with these foster parents all these years. They're really like their parents now. And to remove them from these people would be emotionally or psychological damaging.
Yeah.
By the way, there are cases where that's true. Okay. So it's not something we can just ignore. But I tell people, look, from the day one, start making motions to get the kid placed there. And here's the most important thing. When you ask a social worker to place with, Grandma Sue, and she says no, do not accept that answer. You tell your attorney to make a motion to go to court and have the kid placed with Grandma Sue or 24 other relatives.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 25 people. That's one of my secret sauce strategies. Got to
Yeah.
get this kid with a favorable relative. If you were ever arrested for robbing a bank, okay, and you're in jail, if you stay in jail and try to help your lawyer defend the case, you're at a significant disadvantage. And I liken that to the kids in foster care. If you're in jail but you bail out, okay, and you're out on the street and you're able to help your attorney and investigate things and help your attorney, I liken that to the kid being with a friendly relative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how important it is to get the kids with friendly relatives at the very beginning. And if the social worker says no, who cares? You can make that motion in front of the judge, because look, the judge, at least in California, and that's where you are, the judge has the ultimate say, not the social worker. Funny things over the years, I've heard social workers, and I've heard people say social workers have said, I don't care what the judge says. Judge doesn't tell CPS what to do. That's BS. The
Exactly.
judge, the judge is the ultimate decider. And if you don't put these things in front of the judge, he or she is not going to know that there's 25 other relatives who could take the kid. They're not going to know that. The
Yeah.
judges aren't supposed to go out and independently investigate your case. They're supposed to make a decision based upon the evidence presented to the judge. And if the social worker is only presenting her side of the story, like there's no relatives, judge, and
Hmm.
you're not presenting your side of the story, which is, yeah, here's 25 relatives, judge. The judge is not going to know.
Yeah.
I've been on many cases where this exact issue has come up, and the judge is shocked to learn that there's 25 other relatives. Like, why didn't the social worker tell me that? Because the social worker don't want to do it in some cases, judge,
Yeah.
for
Yeah. I guess.
a lot of different reasons. Some
Yeah.
people say it's because of money. Some people say it's because they want to gain the tactical advantage in the case. Some people will say they just don't like the parents. And, F the parents. We're not going to put these kids with relatives. We're not going to give them a chance. We're going to put them with foster parents right now. And we're going to make sure those foster parents adopt these kids in 6 to 12 months.
Like, honestly, I think that's part of what's happening, because when I reported this so many times since they got taken away in 2018, I do have relatives. One is in New Jersey. Here's her information, yada yada, and they
But
still tell
Monica,
me,
but
and I
Monica,
still try to make it emotion.
okay. But here's the thing. You asked the social worker said no.
Yeah.
You didn't go to court and make a motion in front of the judge.
No, the attorney didn't allow that.
Okay.
The one,
Well,
the first one.
okay, if you're listening to this and you're viewing this, if your attorney tells you that, you might want to get a second opinion. Okay. You know how when you go to the doctor, you get second opinions?
Yeah.
Okay. Lawyer, same way. Okay. Many, many years ago, I went to the doctor, and this doctor opined that I had to have surgery. Okay. And I was going to have it. At the time, my wife was still alive, bless her soul. And she said, you're a smart guy. Why aren't you getting a second opinion? And I'm like, well, I guess I'm kind of lazy. Right. So she actually made me get a second opinion. I go get the second opinion, and the guy says emphatically, do not have that operation. Whoever told you you need that operation is a quack. That's what he told me. And I didn't really believe that. I thought this guy's kind of crazy, right? He's calling another doctor a quack. I went and got a third. And both of these second and third opinions were from prominent, uh, well-experienced doctors in this field. The third doctor said, hey, let me run a couple tests. And he reviewed all my medical records. And he told me unequivocally, do not get the operation. You don't need it. And by the way, this is kind of a major operation.
Yeah.
It wasn't something small. I mean, I was going to be out for like 6 or 7 months
Wow.
recuperating. So I didn't have the operation. That was over 30 years ago. Over 30 years ago. To this day, no problems. So same thing for lawyers. Sometimes you got to get that second opinion. And sometimes you can get it for free. Sometimes you might have to pay $50, $100, $200. But listen, we're talking about your kids.
Exactly.
The most important case you'll ever have in your life. Okay? So I want you to think about that. Try to talk to your attorney, try to work with him or her. But if you can't, go get another opinion. Now, the second opinion may tell you, oh yeah, your attorney's right. Okay. But at least you found out. At least you look someplace else.
Yeah.
Hey Monica, I'm coming to the end of the show this morning. Were there any questions that you wanted to ask me?
Um, I wanted to thank you honestly. First
Oh,
things first, I've been seeing your videos. I've been seeing your strategies on how you work and things I've been following on how you say things to bring it to my attorney and like, hey, like like this is how I'm investigating my case too. And he said like I'm very surprised that you're investigating your own case because you literally have everything prepared and stuff like that. I'm like, and I think someone very important to me. I'm like, he brings up these videos on YouTube, and I follow his strategies, and I'm just like, I'm very thankful for that because I'm like, if it wasn't for that, I would be like sleeping, not knowing what's going on, and like it's just a blessing, and I thank you for that.
well, I appreciate that, Monica.
Yeah.
It makes doing these videos and these live streams all worthwhile. All
Yeah.
worthwhile. So let me tell you something. Do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Okay,
Yeah.
because it's very important in the algorithm, in the YouTube algorithm, and in the ranking of the channel. Okay, I
Um,
tell you something really interesting. I have a colleague who lives in another state who told me, who has a YouTube channel, and it's the success of his channel is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal success. And you know what he told me one time? He says, Vince, you're doing your YouTube channel all wrong. And I said, what do you mean? He says, look, you to be popular on YouTube, you need to do this. You need to be entertaining. You need to be talking about controversial things in the news, etc., etc. He said, look, ain't nobody interested in you telling parents how to win their CPS case. And I go, what do you mean? There are people that are interested.
yeah.
They watch the channel. He says, yeah, but not in large numbers. And I said, well, I'm not really trying to look at that. I'm trying to get information, even if it's to a small number of people that will help them in their case.
Yeah.
So I I appreciate you saying that. And everyone that's watching on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, go to my channel on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, and subscribe. Here's something very interesting because I even thought this myself. Kinsley's mommy says, I think the algorithm is a shadow banning your content, honestly. And I've actually thought that because there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have CPS cases. And although I'm not the only person that does shows like this, I'm probably one of the more well known, especially here in California. So, if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, go to my channel. Please like and subscribe. It does help the algorithm. Hey, Monica, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing this Saturday morning with us. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I've been subscribed to you since day one.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Since day one,
Look,
I've been subscribed to you, and I follow strategies.
you know, I I
So
don't want
thank
to
you.
give you. There's one last thing I want to tell you, and I don't want to give you any false hopes, but I want to tell you something. Several months ago, I had a lady on the show. I don't know if you saw it. She's from San Diego County. Her rights had been terminated.
Yeah.
She lost her rights for 5 years. She ended up getting her child back and getting her rights reinstated by the juvenile court. Now, does that happen in every case? No. Will that happen for you? I don't know.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm bringing this up is never give up. She
Yeah.
never gave up. And the stars aligned just the right way. All right. So never give up. keep trying to
Yeah,
fight. And
I never do. Sometimes I do
you-
feel like that, but I'm like, you know what? There's parents out there that literally ask me for support. And if I don't do what I'm doing just for my kids, but also for me, it's like I feel like I'm failing them. So I'm like, no, I gotta keep it together. I gotta keep fighting, keep going, and just get my story out there. And
Mhm.
hopefully they learn from it. Cause yeah, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect parents, but you learn from those mistakes. You learn from what you did wrong in order to do the opposite. And that's what I believe.
Right. Okay, Monica. I'm going to thank you again for being on the show. Please keep in contact with me and with Grace. And if you ever have any questions, just give me a call. All right.
All right.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank
all
you.
right. I want to thank everybody for watching today's show. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It does help our algorithm. And we'll be on tomorrow at 9:30, new time for Sundays. 9:30 a.m. We'll be on the show tomorrow. And hopefully by that time, Grace will have a guest. If you want to be a guest anytime on our show, please email grace at vincentwdavis.com. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.